parents seem to think that it has to be this half hour of quality time. I don't think I did anything like that. I think we were just always goofing around. My kids were always around me. I sort of had the family room in the kitchen. That's where we spent all our time. And I was always with them. So we were always just chatting. It doesn't have to be this condensed, okay, now I have 15 minutes. You can't always find that. So yeah, just while you're making dinner, you can be singing. While you're driving somewhere, do I Spy. Turn off the music, turn off the radio, whatever. So connect with them while you're doing something else. You're driving, so wouldn't that be a great opportunity to play I Spy or some other game? Hello, welcome to the Bratbusters Parenting Podcast. My name's Lisa Bunnage. I'm a parenting coach, I'm a mom, and I'm also a grandmother. I'm joined by my daughter, Amy, who does all the social media, all the marketing, and she also keeps me in line as she does all the planning for the business. I have to say what her role is because she's far too humble to ever say what she does. She's a huge part of this business. I couldn't run it without her. So anyway, on to you, Amy.
Well, I think it'd be a little tough to run without you too. So.
Well, we always say that I'm the product and she's the drive behind it. So
yeah, I'd be a little lost. What would I do for videos? Especially since I know nothing about kids.
That's a good point. I never think about it that way. I guess I could run this business without you, but
Exactly.
It'd be a lot different, a lot harder. I'd have to hire 20 people to do what you do. Okay. So plus she has total control over everything. I couldn't give that to anybody else. She knows all the banking and you know what I mean? So yeah,
There's a level of trust.
It's huge because mother-daughter stuff. We're also best friends. We're very lucky. We've always got along beautifully. And
well, we bicker.
We bicker, but stupid. We never bicker over anything the least bit important. It's the dumbest thing. What do we bicker over?
It's the little things.
It's the stupidest thing. Well, you didn't put the glass down there. You should have put it over there. But you told me last time to put it.
We have this joke that we need a mediator because we both always exit these little bickerings going, yeah, I was right.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, and they're just stupid. Anyway, okay.
So this question.
Oh, by the way, I never know what we're going to be talking about. If you're regular here, you know that. I do not work I can't be planned. I just can't. I have to have it all off the cuff. Well, you know why? If I plan something, I stumble over my words. I think, I should do that again. So that's why I can't plan anything. I don't know why. Anyway, I wish I could, but I can't.
So this episode is about not having time to parent.
Good one.
You say good one. You came up with it.
So shoot. That's right. No, I didn't come up with that. These are my clients. That's right. We sat and we said, we can't just respond to your questions because a lot of other stuff comes up that you might not think to ask for the podcast. But in coaching, everything comes up in coaching. And there's some really common things that come up. And one of them is, I don't have time for all this, Lisa. What do I do? So I won't say anything up front.
Yeah.
Do you want to just get going with the questions? Because it'll come up. Because I know what I want to say, but it'll come up as we go.
Okay. So Kara from the United States, 10 and 5-year-old girls. I'm a single mom, no father in the picture anymore. I feel I listen, we have great talks, but I don't have a lot of time to play with them. I work full time and have a home to maintain. My 5-year-old will have tantrums about getting dressed, especially when we have to be someplace. It can set us back hours. I have to just put her in the car with what she has on and leave, but she will unbuckle herself, hit, and spit at me. Sometimes after this battle, I have nothing left in me when we finally leave, but it gets to the point where our plans are just ruined or she will miss the birthday parties. I don't know what to do. Thank you for reading.
Well, you don't want her missing any birthday parties. I never take away social stuff or fun like that, connection stuff with other people. But, and this is something that comes up a lot in coaching is I don't have time for all this stuff, Lisa. And I say, well, you're going to have to make time. And you can do multitasking. So what I mean by that is if you're cooking dinner, right, and you don't want them helping because you just got to get it on the table, that could be the time to sing. Put on something on the TV or something on the iPad, whatever. It's some video that the kids love, and you take turns. The younger one gets to choose the song and then they can dance and you can all sing together. So you have to make time. And parents seem to think that it has to be this half hour of quality time. I don't think I did anything like that. I think we were just always goofing around. My kids were always around me. I sort of had the family room in the kitchen. That's where we spent all our time. And I was always with them. So we were always just chatting. It doesn't have to be this condensed, okay, now I have 15 minutes. You can't always find that. So yeah, just while you're making dinner, you can be singing. While you're driving somewhere, do I Spy. Turn off the music, turn off the radio, whatever. So connect with them while you're doing something else. You're driving, so wouldn't that be a great opportunity to play I Spy or some other game? There's other card games you could play. But yeah, just ask questions. There's all sorts of card games. But yeah, do the multitask idea. And I can't really get into the 5-year-old spitting other than the fact she doesn't feel that she gets enough time with you. She doesn't feel connected with you. So work on your leadership. You might want to check out the boot camp course, the 3 to 12-year-old one. That will set you up as a leader after 5 weeks. You still got to keep working on it though after that. But yeah, the reason she's acting like that is you're not a leader yet. She doesn't respect you, or she feels maybe like she doesn't get enough time with you. Maybe she feels that she's not enjoyed. So she's going to prove you right, that she is not enjoyable. They often do that. You say, well, they complain that I don't play with them, but then they act rotten when I do. Well, they're doing that to validate the way you feel about them. It comes across. So yeah, work on your leadership, play with her, find ways of enjoying her, and you might see a shift.
That's an interesting comment about quality time, because I think that even applies to adults. Like, I think of a lot of like my friendships, or even you and I, is like I don't know if we specifically go, we're going to carve out some quality time now.
Well, we never do. We talk constantly, but
even without business stuff, like we talk
yeah,
a lot.
we always
and
talk.
It's just like a phone call here or there, or catching, like it's
just make enjoying your children. Like, I think that's it too. Enjoying my children was just a huge part of my life. Like, it wasn't like I carved it out. It was just, I wallowed in those kids. They were fun because I got all the discipline out of the way when they were tiny. And so they were self-disciplining right through the teen years, basically. But yeah, it's not so much a matter of concentrated play. It's a matter of just connecting with them when you're with them all the time anyway. Oh, what did you do in school today? Do you know what I did when I was your age? Do you know what happened at work today? Like, just always be chatting away. But ask their advice, and it's usually about them. Usually, almost 99.9% it's about them. About 100% it's about them.
Well, we as adults like to.
We all love to talk about ourselves. There was this guy, I can't remember who, he's very famous. He's in business and he's written a lot of books. And he said, he's a real feel-good kind of guy. He connects with people really well. And he took this was fascinating. He was on a plane somewhere and he was on business class, he said, and there was a guy sitting beside him. And this guy recognized him and started talking to him. And he talked for the whole 5 hours. Not once did the author and all that, not once did he speak. He said this guy was completely, no self-awareness whatsoever. He talked at this guy for 5 hours. And when they got off the plane, the guy said to him, he said, that was the best conversation I've ever had. He had talked nonstop about himself. Isn't that fascinating? I found that really fascinating. Kind of thought, well, geez, what did he get as a kid? Was he never heard? But anyway, I thought that was really interesting. We all love to talk about ourselves, is my point. So he, as a kid, obviously his needs weren't being met, is what I'm assuming. And, but yeah, so kids, it just has to be about them. But why did I find you guys so interesting? We're just talking about,
I don't know,
like, looking back.
Boring.
Yeah, when I think about it now, but it was a lot of humor. We laughed a lot of silly humor, a lot.
Yeah.
And that was sort of how we connected. I think you
realized, you were like, oh, I can mold these little ones into my sense of humor.
I did.
And then we can all have fun together.
Then we can all, yeah, if I can mold them into laughing at what I like, then I'm going to have these little buddies. And we were friends. We were buddies. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have to discipline because I had that all figured out already. But yeah, I found them fun because you're right, I did mold you. I molded them into what I thought was funny and fun. I remember my son was 8 years old. And this is the first time I realized, wow, this kid's witty, like really witty.
Oh, he is.
He's
so
very
funny.
quick, very quick. So anyway, there was this new kid in school. We'll call my son Johnny. It's not his real name. We'll call him John. And actually, I can't use that one because that was the other kid's name. We'll call my son Patrick. Anyway, so Patrick comes home from school and he says, there's this new kid in school and his name is John. They wrote it on the board. It was John, I think. Yeah, my son was 8. So he could read. And they wrote it down as John, but he goes, it's really weird. This kid, he's from South Africa and he pronounces it Jean or something. And I said, well, sweetie, I said, it's his name. He can pronounce it any way he wants. And my son instantly said, well, my name is Patrick, but it's pronounced Braveheart. Wow. That was funny. But now, did I mold him into that? No, he was very witty. But I see now, how could you not enjoy that? That was hilarious. Plus, I used to have a journal. I'd write all the funny stuff in. So, kids just come up with funny stuff. Like we were singing in the car one day, and this is that Sonny and Cher, "I Got You, Babe" came on. So "I Got You, Babe," and then my son and I both looked at each other. He was 5 years older. My kids are both in the back seat, and my son and I got eye contact, like because she was saying something wrong. So it was "I got you, babe." So we both stopped singing, my son and I, and all we heard was "I got toothache." She thought it was toothache. How can you not enjoy that? That was funny. So I did enjoy kids. I really did. I absolutely wallowed in them. They were funny. Mm-hmm. But because I didn't have to discipline, it was all just positive. Because I got that respect cemented by the time they were about 3. So it was just fun.
Mm-hmm. What you're saying is it doesn't have to be carved out quality time. It's rather just like embedded and woven into the day-to-day life.
Well, aren't we fancy in the way we word things? Embedded and woven.
Okay.
Okay, this is one of those squabbles.
Okay.
Aren't we fancy? Woven and embedded and whew, wow. I'm not even sure I know what that meant. Oh, keep it in. This is what we're like. Okay, sorry about that. Let's get on track. Okay. Next question. Connie, I'm going to pay for that later, by the way.
Connie from Hong Kong. I'm a full-time working mom of my 15-month-old, and I can only spend less than an hour with her every day. Lucky we have weekends together, but I'm noticing her asking and wanting daddy a lot more now, understandably as she spends more time with him. I'm struggling to bond with her with the limited time we have, and she cries every time I put her down in the morning because I have to make breakfast or get ready to rush to work. I fear that very soon she won't ask me anymore because I always just give her a quick hug or kiss and had to go. They grow so quickly that I'm going to miss the phases of her development and eventually just won't talk and bond with me.
You're right. They don't care about quality time. They care about time. So an hour a day with a 15-month-old, it's okay if you were like a grandmother or something, but yeah, that's not enough time. They don't care about quality time at that age. They care about time. So yeah, I don't know what to tell her. To be honest, that's not enough to bond with a 15-month-old. An hour a day, not as a mother. Your expectations, either you increase the time you can spend with her or lower your expectations. So she's not going to be connected with you right now. Later on, when she can talk more, converse with you, it might get easier. But right now, yeah, sorry about that. I can't help you with that. My hands are tied here because they do care about time spent with them. That's all I can say to that.
But as they're getting older, what are ways that you've seen working moms? Because a lot of moms are out working and they have
FaceTime,
daycare.
video calls.
Okay.
You still have to talk to them.
Video calls.
And they need to be able to tell you if they're upset about something. Make yourself available if you can. If they want to talk about something that happened at school, they're excited. So they have access to you. They don't need to be in person as they get older because it's more about they can talk. But yeah, video calls. It's still time. You can't replace time spent with kids. Nothing else can make up for that. You can't miss out on the first 3 years and then expect them to be close to you. If you see what I mean? You can work on it later, but you have to spend time with them to connect. Once they're talking, it gets easier if you're not there, but not at this age. So yeah, my hands are tied. I don't like answering that way, but it's the truth. I have to be honest. It's the truth.
So just too young.
Too young to understand that you can't. They don't understand jobs. They don't understand why you're not with them. How could they? And even as they get older, they can understand it, but they still don't like it. They want to be with you. They want you there. That is the connection, is your availability. Your presence is the connection. You can't have connection without presence.
Okay.
So that was my big word.
Yeah, ooh, big word.
Shucks.
Okay. Next question is Juliet from the United States. My daughter is 2 years old and we just had a second baby. My daughter likes to rough play and is constantly jumping around him. Sometimes will hit, kick, or even step on him. At times it feels intentional because she will purposely do this right next to him. My natural reaction in the moment is to yell at her in fear of the baby getting hurt, but I know this approach isn't effective. And honestly, I've been trying my best to manage these postpartum hormones that are turning me crazy. It's hard to just leave the room to safely breastfeed him because I'm also watching her and making sure she's not setting the house on fire. I know this is a big change for me. My question is, how can I still meet all of her needs while managing the care and safety of a new baby?
Yeah, you have to watch her like a hawk. You can't get mad at a 2-year-old for getting rough with a newborn. They don't understand life, death, soft spots, fragility, broken bones. They don't understand any of that. It's your job to watch her like a hawk. You said roughhouse. Do you roughhouse with her? Do you rough play? I never did that with my kids. Neither did their dad. We never roughhouse played with them ever. We just didn't. I didn't want that because I know it can lead to stuff like this, right? Because if they get used to roughhousing with their parents, which I know some parents connect that way, I have to work around that. Especially dads, they like to wrestle with their kids, and I have to work around that. But overall, I recommend not doing that because then they get used to being rough and physical. Then they'll be like that with the baby. They'll be like that with their peers. They'll get more used to being physically rough. Okay, you're training them to be physically rough, basically, if you roughhouse with your kids. So anyway, these are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers, and the first one is for you. Number 1 is child-proof your home so you never have to say no. That means that you can child-proof and you don't have to worry about your toddler. And why do you have to leave the room to breastfeed? Why not just have a game set up beside you, away from the baby's head? You have them on where the feet are, the toddler, and have a game and that's game time. I'm breastfeeding the baby. Now it's game time with my toddler at the same time. So don't exclude them for time with the baby as much as like whenever possible. Include them. And they don't care about that baby right now. They're too little. They don't get it. So, but they do care that you're being taken away by that baby. So don't blame her for that. They don't understand. To them, it's just like a doll. Like they just want to get rid of it. So yeah. I was going to read out my other tips too. So these are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, childproof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation so they're never bored. I've got lots of videos on all this stuff. Number 3, connect with toddlers in their world, not in your world. Discipline toddlers in their world, not your world. Their world is action, so you use consistent corrective actions, not words when you're disciplining a toddler. And a toddler is under the age of 3 to me anyway. And number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They've just got some marbles and tumbleweed up there. They're just forming. They're brand new. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years. In the first year, you're a potato laying on a mattress. They just don't get it yet. So don't expect too much from them. And that's it. I think that's the only answer I can give. As far as your hormones are concerned, it's just temporary. I know it's rough. I get it, but it's just temporary. Just struggle through. Don't expect too much from yourself. Don't worry about the housework or anything else right now. Just worry about trying to enjoy your kids or just trying to survive. Because toddler and a newborn, that's a tough gig. That's a lot. Physically, that's a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Last question is Fred from the United States. My 5-year-old daughter seeks constant stimulation from me. I will include her in daily tasks, sit down in her world with undivided attention, and play Barbies or whatever for over an hour, multiple times a day. We love riding bikes and being outside. When I need to get things done around the house, I will give her a craft to do, put on a movie, set up pretend play for her to play alone, set up her toys in the room I will be in, and try to pretend play while I do my tasks. She will immediately start seeking negative attention by harassing the cat or dog, climbing on the kitchen counter, going outside alone, things she knows will pull me away. I can't give my undivided attention 100% of the day. My house would collapse.
Okay, I would just put down, well, for one thing, time your playtime with her. What I mean by that is just get one of these timers or something like that, and you time it and you say, when that's up, we stop playing. And then use the behavior board. That's completely free. Go to Bratbusters.com. You can get the behavior board. The next step is the boot camp course. But does the behavior board just put on there a rule, and it's no climbing on counters or something like that. So every time she does, there's a consequence. But yeah, you can't put everything down. Don't put no running outside, no acting out. You can't put attitude. So just pick one battle you're going to work on. If she has tantrums, you never discuss a tantrum, and it's not a bad behavior. A tantrum is a loss of emotional control, not getting their own way. So you just ignore that. But yeah, time your fun with her. She's totally in charge. And you already know that. You want to switch that. You want her to follow you. Right now, you're following her, and she knows it. By the way, she's not happy doing that. Kids who are acting out are not happy. They are happiest when they have a leader. It makes them feel safe, and it gives them pride in themselves. I guarantee when she's acting out and climbing on the counter, her self-esteem is low. So yeah, you're not doing her any favors by giving in to her. You're playing enough with her. You don't need to play all day with her. Just say, okay, now I'm going to go read the paper. And then as soon as she acts out, you can put when it's a consistent action that you want to correct, have that on the behavior board. Check it out. It tells you how to do all that. She's 5. She knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing.
And you can find the behavior board at bratbusters.com.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So that's the end of the questions. Do you have anything else you want to add about time with kids?
Time with kids. They don't care about quality time as much as they do with time. So they just want you around them. And you know what's funny is you don't even have to be, they're funny because it's not even that you're even playing with them. They like to know you're there. And a lot of parents work. I get it. You can't be there all the time. But I think a lot of parents do tend to schedule in, okay, now we're going to have this quality time. And I just said to use a timer. It might seem like a little bit of an inconsistency here. But also, you could be talking to her while you're making dinner or doing something else, potentially. But sounds like you're overdoing it. She's snapping her fingers. She's in charge. So that's why I said you come in a little bit differently with that. But if you are struggling to find time with your kids, just have it being like multitasking. Just say, okay, so I've got to get all these chores done. And I often use this example. Say, you watch me. And if I forget to skip, so I'm only allowed to skip while I'm doing these chores. You're skipping while you're vacuuming. You're skipping while you're going to do the laundry. I remember doing that with my kids. They didn't take their eyes off me. Because if I messed up and forgot to skip, even just to the oven from the fridge, if I forgot, they go, oh, there you go. That's a treat for us. So there's something in it for them. That's connection, right? Even that. I wasn't even talking to them, but I did have to skip a lot. So yeah, just stuff like that. Connection doesn't have to be this big show. It can be the littlest thing. It's usually something silly and goofy though, which is my specialty. That's why it was so easy for me.
Maybe just showcase this, the story where the guy was calling his kid every night.
Yeah, that was so cute. I remember his name and everything. I won't say it here. Anyway, he had a baby with his girlfriend. They split up. So she moved the child away, and I don't even think she had family. She did it out of spite, just to get, I don't know why, but anyways, spite. So she moved to a different province, like far away. So he didn't get access to his kid. But what he would do, she wouldn't even let the kid do a FaceTime or anything free. She made the ex-boyfriend, the father, she made him call like on his phone, and it cost money. So she wanted him to be spending money on this. It's just so mean-spirited. You're not doing the kid any favor. Anyway, here's the cute part. He would call his son every single night, and I think the kid was about 4 at this stage. This is the cutest thing. And his son, he wasn't into talking a lot, right? But he would put the phone down, knowing his dad. He'd talk for a second, hi, daddy, and then he'd put the phone down, and then he'd go a few feet away and play. And he'd be talking while he was playing. And then after about a half an hour, the dad would yell, like whatever the boy's name was, Stuart or whatever. And then the kid would pick up the phone and he goes, and they hadn't even been talking. And the father said, I have to go now. And he goes, no, 5 more minutes. I want you to listen to me play for 5 more minutes. Is that the cutest thing? He knew his dad was listening, but he wasn't even talking to him. So, I get teary when I think about that. Is that the sweet? Kids will tell you what they need and what they want. And that is that he just needed to know his dad loved him enough to listen to him play. Is that cute?
Maybe that even might be applicable for the second question with the 15-month-old with being away. Maybe it could just be as simple as when they get older, being on a phone call.
Yeah, well, FaceTime, and just make your presence known and very involved with them. It's all about them, all in their world. So you could just sing a song to them. You could even have recordings. That's a very good point, by the way, sweetie. You could even have recordings of you singing a song and using their name. Hi, sweetie. And then that could be played for them. So your presence is there. Yeah.
Oh, like what is this? Like those tapes that you listen to when you go to sleep and they like rewire your brain.
Subconsciously you're there. Yeah, like that. Yeah. You're just always there. Gets to the point where they get away. Yeah, you're just always there. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to wrap it up, or was there anything else?
Yeah, maybe we might tell one little funny story about time. So you putting me in daycare and what I said about that because they didn't have it on the weekends.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe this. She was the sweetest little thing. Never cried, never tantrum, nothing. Easiest kid. My mom was visiting. And we lived in Australia, and my mom came out from Canada every year. So mom and I are chatting and playing cards. And so my daughter was just wanted to be in on everything. She was 3. No, you would have been 4 because I had you in 2 of them. Yeah, she would have been 4. So she was in preschool. She was in a private one and a public one. And they each went for 2.5 days. So it was one went for 2 days. Anyway, so she was 5 days a week. She needed that. To this day, she still needs to be scheduled constantly. She's one of those kids that needs to be busy always. And as an adult, she's the same. Her whole schedule, that's why she plans everything out in the business. It's her way. So anyway, she had to be scheduled and busy. So she's kind of hanging out with mom and I. We're just trying to talk, and she's trying to, can I play too? And I said to her, she was just being a pest. And I said to her, that's why you're in preschool 5 days a week. She said to me, hard luck on the weekends. She wasn't even trying to be cheeky. She was just pointing out hard luck on the weekends. Because in Australia, they use not bad luck. They use, or tough luck. They say hard luck. So hard luck on the weekends. Wow, that was clever. And we laughed and laughed. So yeah, kids are fun. That was you don't remember that, do you?
No, but I've heard it a lot. So.
She's heard it so many times, she probably thinks she remembers almost. Anyway, okay, so that's it. Thanks so much for joining us, Lisa and her daughter, Amy, and also she's my business partner. And thanks for joining us, and we'll talk again soon. Happy parenting. Bye now.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready to dive deeper, check out Bratbusters.com to learn more about the behavior board, parenting courses, and private one-on-one coaching with Lisa. The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional advice. Lisa is a parenting coach, mom, and grandmother. She is not a licensed psychologist or counselor. Her services do not replace the care of psychologists or other healthcare professionals. For a full disclaimer, please visit Bratbusters.com/disclaimer.